What does it mean to be dominant? Can anybody be dominant? Can women be dominant? What does a dominant do in a relationship with a submissive? Stay tuned and find out answers to these questions on this week's episode of Think Kink. What does it mean to be a dominant? I'm Veronica Jans, founder of Desires Laid Bare, where we teach easy and actionable kink and BDSM classes to beginners so that they can safely explore their kinky desires with confidence. A lot of people think that being dominant is easier in the relationship between a dominant and submissive because being dominant is much more straightforward. Even being dominant comes with its own set of complex situations. So what it means to be dominant in a relationship with your partner is that you like to take charge, or that you derive pleasure from having your partner give you that permission to lead the relationship. And in any successful relationship, there's a good balance of equal energy exchange between two partners, the sub and the dom, the yin and the yang, whatever it may be. And so the dominant likes to take control, and the submissive derives pleasure from giving his or her control to the dominant so that the dominant can lead the relationship. Now, it's not to say that whatever the dominant says is the end-all be-all, unless you've both negotiated it that way. There's lots of room for discussion and communication. Like always, you can think of it as a distribution of roles in a relationship. Partner X, the dominant, does this. Partner Y, the submissive, does that. And at the end, the relationship balances out and both people are receiving satisfaction and pleasure from the role that they've set forth for themselves and for each other. So, like a submissive, you can teach somebody to be dominant, but most of the people that are dominant and are most natural at it is something that you just are born with. Even though I identify as submissive, I am only submissive to my partner. But everything else, I would say that I'm naturally very dominant. So yes, anybody can be dominant, but if it's not what you're meant to be, if it's not suited towards your natural inclinations, then you may have a harder time. But it doesn't mean you can't learn to be dominant to dominate your partner, be it a man or a woman, in bed. Which leads to another question. Can women be dominant? Absolutely. So in society and in media and films and books, it's most often that you see men in the dominant position. However, that's not the end-all be-all. It is just as natural for a woman to be dominant and for a man to be submissive. However, this starts to tread on the societal expectations of what it means to be a man and a woman, and that traditionally speaking, women need to take the more subservient role. It doesn't matter what your gender is, so long as you know what makes you happy. So if you're a man and you have submissive tendencies, do not be ashamed of that. If you're a woman with dominant tendencies, do not be ashamed of that. So whatever it is that makes you all excited, go for it. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put your comments and questions in the box below. I'll see you next week, and stay kinky.